Mark Brown, smile for the camera because we getting ready to go.
Let's go.
Let's do it,
Let's
baby.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Bears Den. It's a safe place to be unsafe. Like I always say, I am Mark Brown, aka the Black Bear. We have Michael Johnson, the Lone Wolf, and we have super producer B on the other end, coming live from. Are you in Detroit, producer
Michigan.
B? Michigan.
No, I'm not in Detroit. Michigan. Around
okay.
Detroit.
All right. So I take it you were probably pretty excited about the Eminem performance this weekend at halftime show, right?
Yeah, no, that was crazy, dude. That was insane. They had 50 Cent hanging upside down. I didn't even expect him to be there, but there he was.
50 Cent was a $5 bill. Hey,
Yeah,
man, I'm not body shaming anybody, but like, bro,
It just sounds like you were, but
like you could throw on a sweatshirt or something. Like, come
Listen,
on, man.
I'm
Like,
telling you, man, honestly, I got to say this one thing about that, right? I thought that he was so out of breath. Like,
you saw how big he looked? Yeah, he was out of breath.
like,
I mean,
what
they said it was like they asked him like last second. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
but,
believe that for sure.
Yeah.
last second. Oh my gosh.
Hey man, look, this is a good subject to start off on. Before we get into our main topic of the day,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, both of you? I'm asking both of you. What are your thoughts about like the change in the halftime show? Because I know there was some like flack. You know, it didn't appeal to certain demographics. Certain girls like this is horrible. Some other people like this is the most amazing thing ever. What do you guys think about the halftime show? The change of it a little bit.
When you say the change, right? What do you mean? Like I haven't really noticed, like, unless I haven't been paying attention. So what do you mean?
Most of the time, it's the genre of music they play is like, you know, classic rock, or like it's not usually a lot of rap. This was basically surrounded by rap music, hip hop. You know what I mean? It's not usually all that. It's like sometimes in halftime shows they sprinkle it in here and there, but it's not mostly predominantly hip hop.
I mean, so what's wrong with that?
Some people had a problem with it because they said it didn't appeal to them. You know what I mean? Like
It didn't appeal to them.
older generations, people that are used to this halftime show being a certain kind of way.
Yeah, well, I mean, welcome to the change.
Yeah.
Welcome to the real.
To the real.
As Lawrence Fishburne said in the Matrix, welcome to the real.
What do you think about that, producer B?
Yeah, I would actually love to hear your perspective, my man.
Yeah,
for sure.
I actually do have a feeling on this. And as the halftime show was going on, all I could think about was my like 50, 60-year-old parents sitting at home watching the Super Bowl going, what the fuck?
Scared.
is this?
Scared. They were nervous. They saw Kendrick Lamar and they were like, "Oh,
Yeah,
what's going
no,
on?"
for real. Kendrick Lamar, like, he's a great artist, but he's not like a Super Bowl like type artist, like in my opinion, honestly. But we used to have like people like Michael Jackson, and we used to like Katy Perry, like, I mean, rap every like now and then, like Dr. Dre bringing him and Snoop out. That was, you know, Snoop was crip walking. That's a whole nother story.
No. But see, I think though that's also part of our. I mean, that's also part of our culture, though, man.
Yeah.
Like that's honestly, when I saw Dre, when I saw Snoop, and even 50, I was like, that's like the construct of that is crazy.
Yeah.
Right. The only two things I didn't understand was Kendrick Lamar and Mary J. Blige. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But not me to get. Well, even Mary J. Blige, I should have gotten because they worked together, right? But they didn't work together like that.
Yeah.
They didn't work together where it was like, you know, like Snoop and Dre. But when, like, my whole thing was like when Dre hit that, when Dre hit the piano, when he was like, nah, you know what I mean? It's still DRE.
Yeah.
Man, I got goosebumps from that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's the same, like if it's a riff from the Rolling Stones or a piano riff from Dr. Dre, it's all the same, man.
Yeah.
It's American classic.
Yeah.
You're part of this sport, right? It's American football.
Yeah.
That's America.
Yeah. I agree, man.
This is America.
When Kendrick Lamar came on, I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I was thinking about Candace's granddad. And I was like 85-year-old, 90-year-old guy. And I thought to myself, I said, oh shit. Hey, because even myself, I was like, oh, this is a bit aggressive. And then Candace talked to her granddad the next day. He goes, that was the worst halftime show I've ever seen. But, it doesn't appeal to him.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
When he was a youngster, his
Johnny Cash,
his whoever said the same thing. That was the worst, whatever. I'd never. Yeah. It's generational, man.
Yeah.
I listen to half the stuff I listen to today. I'm like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard. Like, this is honestly like, no, this isn't disrespectful to like the little babies of the world or anything like that, but I can't listen to that.
Yeah, it's a gap.
Oh,
it's a gap.
Yeah.
No, but in the 80s and 90s, dude, gangster rap was introduced and it went downhill.
Hold on 1 second. This is a gap. That's like a ravine.
What were you saying, Brendan?
What are you telling me?
In the 80s and 90s, gangster rap was introduced and it changed the culture entirely. And ever since then, like, everything has been a free for all. Like, when you say, like, oh, when he was younger, he listened to Johnny Cash. Like, Johnny Cash was rapping, or not rapping. He was singing about, like, whiskey and stuff.
Yeah, things that were looked down
now
on.
It's like, I'm going to murder you. I'm going to shoot up your block. It's like, this is on the Super Bowl, like, halftime show. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the new normal. So, I mean, not all change is good change, but at the same time, freedom of expression. So.
Listen, man, my whole thing at the end of the day is I thought it was, I mean, I loved it. Let the old heads didn't like it. It did the job.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch the game. I really wasn't interested. Just no team that I was interested in.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tom Brady. I wish you were in the sport, but I mean, I wish you were in the game and still in the sport, but but as far as a halftime show, like even after the halftime, it was so ingrained in me to see that, right? I had to pull it up on YouTube and watch it, and I just watched it 15 minutes of that, and after it was done, I was like, that was dope.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige and Kendrick Lamar, they could have cut that out.
Yeah.
But then it was dope.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I missed the second part of it, and I'll get off this and we'll get into our show once I stop. Did they bring a hologram of Tupac out?
I missed
Did they do that?
What?
Did they bring a hologram of Tupac out, Brendan?
I didn't hear about that happening, but that'd be nuts if they did.
What were you smoking on?
No. I'm saying.
No. Here's what happened. Let me tell you what happened.
Tupac's back.
Hold on. Mark was at home enjoying, the Super Bowl, and he heard California Love, and he saw Tupac. He didn't really see Tupac, but
no, man,
he had some of that California Love. Anyway,
smoking on that Tupac pack. But let's jump into the show, man. I want to touch on the topic of being consistent and what goes into being consistent and how you stay consistent and what are some of the pitfalls of being consistent or inconsistent. We have all had, the three of us have had conversation off mic about certain things about dealing with consistency, and we won't talk about it on air, but like I find myself sometimes like I do it a lot. Like I'll get real hype about something, and then life will kind of hit me. You know what I mean? Or something to come up and it'll take priority over something, and it stagnates me. And I'm curious, like, some people out there probably go through the same stuff, and I'm curious, what we can add to the conversation of being consistent. How do you avoid stoppage in your consistency, whether it's family time, business, whatever projects you have going on in your life, goals you set for yourself. You know what I mean? I think that I'm really consistent when it comes to physical stuff. But when it comes to things outside of the area that are not in my comfort zone, I'm very susceptible to falling off a little bit, so to say. I don't know if you guys have that experience with anything you have going on, or if you've had that in the past, or projects that you've worked on. Have you experienced that at all?
Mm-hmm. I actually am going through. Yes, I've gone through that. Absolutely. And I've noticed it, and it's been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I have done is consistency there has to be some framework to it, right? So you got to lay the bricks down, right?
Yeah.
Because in order for the road to be straight, it's consistently got to stay in one parallel direction, or, it's got to stay within its boundaries or whatever, right? So what I've done recently, and this is crazy, a few months back, you remember I got off the running trail and I started doing yoga. I was like, I'm not running, I'm not doing anything. And you remember I just went like straight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was doing that thinking I need to stretch out my IT bands, whatever. But it was laying some foundation of resilience for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be, if you would, resilience on a lot of things that throw me off in life, right? I learned a lot from that practice, which is that in the midst of everything going on, because none of that's going to stop in order for you to be consistent, right?
Yeah.
The world's still going to spin. The sun is gonna rise and it's gonna set regardless. So you just have to understand that with all that going on, like you gotta really find the time to focus back to be consistent. And sometimes, like, when are we gonna find the time? Sometimes you gotta just do it. Lately, I've been like, my wife, the kids, work, redoing the studio, couple different projects. She wants a new this, a new that. I just got to stop and go, you know what? I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm doing.
Yeah. And
I'm just going to do it. I'm going to be consistent to it until it's done. And then
so let's be downsizing a little bit. Like, kind of just focusing on, okay, this is my core thing.
Right.
And this is what I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And taking it in strides. Like, because sometimes I think in order to be consistent, it's little blocks at a time. My running coach always used to say that, man. Like, you're running, man. Don't think of it as a 10-mile run. Think of it as like your house to the stop sign. I just gotta get there.
Yeah.
Right? And then from the stop sign, you go to the road up the street. Right.
Yep.
And it's just the consistency of that kind of distance. I'm gonna get from here to here, here to here, here to here. You take it in chunks, and then boom. Next thing you know, you've been doing this for a while, and it just becomes like what you do.
Yeah. It takes me back to. I'll let you jump in real quick, Brendan, after I say this. It takes me back to something Goggins. I know we talk about him a lot, but it's something Goggins says.
I love him.
It's something Goggins said is, some days he doesn't want to run, and I tell myself I don't run. But if I get outside and get that first mile in, then I'm going to run 10, 15 miles.
Yeah.
But it's just getting it going, right? Going, and just keep going and stay going. Brendan, have you experienced that at all? Like, I know you have a different perspective.
No, my perspective is, I'm going to give you my exact perspective from a younger person.
You have a lot of stuff going on with projects you're doing right now, so you can add a lot to this conversation.
Right, absolutely. Have a couple projects going on right now, all very important to me. And I feel like the thing that kind of like throws me off or makes me inconsistent is the hype of everything. And MJ actually one time, I've learned a lot from him, and he had to pull me aside and say, like, is this really what you want to do? Like, are you just like bought up in the hype of it? You know what I mean? Like, you have to like really, really like think deep in your values. If this is something that's going to get done, you want to do it. But like for me being younger, like everything that's going on right now everything is like a distraction. It's all just hype. Like, do I need to like focus on, I know what I need to focus on actually. But like sometimes I just get caught up in like, okay, these people want to go out. Like, I'm young. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, but at the same time, I want to be successful so bad that I have to forego things like going out with my friends in my younger years like this. So
in my younger years, what's making you not so consistent, man? Brendan, let's put him on the couch.
Put me on the hot seat.
What's making you not consistent, man?
I think that when you're dealing with, so it depends on what you're dealing with, right? So when I'm dealing with my family, like I said earlier, I'm super consistent. When I'm dealing with things that I have to do, I'm super consistent. When you get into things that are like projects of passion, that you like doing it, you're doing it because you want to do it, but it's not really giving you that instant result or satisfaction or, yielding any fruit, so to say, in the beginning, I lose focus and I let other things come in and take over. And so to say, going back to what you were saying, Mike, I think like it's best when I downsize it. So yeah, I got my core things in my family, my whatever is really, really important to me. And then I need to have, one or two things and not have four things on my plate,
Okay, but then, so fear, 100% fear. But I think also, but then you can't be mad when things don't pop off for you, right?
Absolutely.
Because what you're saying, if it's not yielding something, that means that it's not giving you fruit, right? But in order to get an apple, you need to plant an apple tree. And then you got to be consistent with watering the tree. And then it's got to grow and bud. And then it's going to die for a little bit. You got to figure out how to bring it back to life. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually you get this crazy big tree that gives you more apples than you could probably eat. Then you get an apple orchard, right?
Yeah.
So, the consistency of going through the process and not looking at the end result is important, I think, too, as well. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't.
Oh yeah, man.
I don't know.
No. Without a doubt, man. Even I'll give you an example, man. Like, so in the wintertime, just go back to what I'm really into is training, whatever. In the wintertime, I usually put, like we all do, I usually put on a couple of pounds. I usually put on some weight, right? And it's really easy to say, you know what, I'm just gonna be fat and the hell with it. But what I do is
say that I'm done.
I stay consistent with it. The intensity might not be as high as when I'm really into training for something, but to go what you're saying, Mike, I'm consistent with it. I'm constantly, even if it's not as intense, even if it's only like a 4-mile run or an hour hike, I'm constantly watering the fruit, so to say, so it yields me in the summertime or when it's supposed to. And I've always heard the saying, train your hustle the same way you train your muscle, right? And that's the one thing that
your hustle and your muscle is actually seriously the same thing in your world.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it is. Yeah, no pun intended.
No pun.
Hustle memory, I like that, Brendan. I like it.
Hey, you heard it here first. Could you Google that real quick to see if that actually is a shirt?
That'll be trademarked before the show even ends.
I guarantee that's a shirt. That's a guaranteed shirt. We can prove that we came up with the idea.
Go ahead.
There's two types of people. You are either working for somebody else who is growing their trees and their apples, and you're growing their apples more, or like they've already done the hardest part. They've already, said, all right, I'm going to choose this lifestyle. And, they went for it. They probably failed like 10, 20, 30 times before they made it, but they chose the hardest lifestyle. Ends up being more rewarding later. You choose the easy lifestyle now, collect a check, do that, do this, work for somebody else, make them richer. It just never gets any easier for you. It just gets harder as you get older. Like I see it, that's the middle class, literally.
I will add to that though. There's different factors that come into play, especially as you get older, right?
Case by case basis.
I hear what you're saying, but like as you start to add things like kids and different responsibilities, like. And, so say like if you're working on multiple projects where some of the projects might be a conflict of interest, right? And I'm dealing with that personally. Certain things that I'm doing.
Like what? You're dealing with a conflict. Hold on, man. Hold on. Stop. Come on.
It's like, how do I
playing?
What
is it?
How do I
want to know. Stop playing. No, stop. What's the conflict of interest? Because this could be stopping your consistency, man. So you got to tell me he's got to tell me what this is. What conflict of interest are you dealing with? You just got a Scooby-Doo ear and not just from me.
No. Okay. I got you. I'm working on projects that are similar, right? Like that are similar that have a conflict of like what's it called? What is that called?
Interest.
No compete clauses, right?
Oh, you signed that?
No.
I never
not signing that, but I'm just saying.
I never signed
one of those things where it's like,
you hear me? I will never sign one.
Ever.
Never did.
Ever.
Never will.
You better check yourself.
Yes.
But like going back to it, it's tricky for me. How do I merge that? How do I make everything live well together? Because I have to still provide for my family, right? So if I'm doing something to make money and I'm a passion project, how do I make that coexist? And it's tricky, man.
You gotta find the time.
Yeah, tricky.
But honestly, you just gotta find the time. I'm sorry to say, like that's a boohoo. Like, let me play the violin for you.
Yeah,
like,
go ahead, play it. I'm telling you,
producer B, find the violin.
You asked me, and I'm giving you an honest answer.
No, because first of all, I will tell you one thing that I've learned about myself. Right, there is no if my projects, my passions always produce fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you really is it really a passion or is it just like a project, right?
Yeah.
Like I have it's my passion project. Like, no, it's like it's some bullshit that I just don't care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know, when I say y'all, people that know me, like these two and some other people, if I'm into something, I'm into something. And if I'm into something, it's making some kind of noise, right?
Mm-hmm.
It always does, some kind of noise, right? If I don't give a shit about something, so you got to say to yourself first and foremost, to yourself, right? Am I willing to be consistent to this thing that I'm calling my passion? Because if you are, then it's inevitable you're going to get fruit.
Yeah.
Just take that out of the equation. Now, how long it takes, that's a different story, right? So yes, you got to have what's the consistent feed my family, right? You can't just Candace, I'm not doing shit anymore. I'm gonna go out and be a pilot.
Yeah.
Right?
Live off the land.
Kenneth's like, what the heck are you talking about, man? Pilot? You don't even like to fly, right?
She's like, you better stop smoking that shit.
Exactly. Right? But what I'm saying is, like, you gotta say to yourself that you gotta say that to yourself first, and then if you really truly mean it, the consistency just comes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it does. And I feel it.
How have I not been consistent in this, what I'm doing right now? Yeah. I haven't. I have. This is what I love. It's my passion project, consistency, and it bears fruit for me. Yeah. It feeds my family, right? And if that's what you want, you just got to be serious about it. Like, really take the shit seriously. And don't listen to people. I tell this to everybody. All those motherfuckers out there that are talking about, be consistent, do this, do that, right? On social, you ain't seeing who's behind the camera, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because you got to, those motherfuckers ain't. Listen to yourself, man. Have the love for it. The consistency is going to come. Don't look for it from anywhere else.
Yeah. You're right, man. 1,000%. 1,000%. And I'll kind of, and this is in the same world, right? So there's a podcast that I love listening to. I know when it's coming out. I know the day it's coming out. So I look forward to it. So my day's not scheduled around it, but if I'm working out on that day, that's what I'm going to listen to. So today I'm going to work out, and it's every day like clockwork. It comes out today. It wasn't out, and I was like, I'm disappointed it's not out. Yeah. I'm like, what was it? Yeah. And in that moment, I said to myself, this is how you lose people, right? Because when some people are very fickle, especially when it comes to stuff like that, when they want consistency, right? They want it consistently and constantly coming out. And then if you're not giving them what they need, they're going to go over here and find something else.
Somewhere else.
Right? Yeah. So that was today.
Bad for your business.
It's horrible for your business.
Yeah.
It's not even your business. It's bad for what people think of you, right? Like, because somebody could say, you know what, he's always so hyped about something. We have a friend that always gets hyped about something, and somebody else told you, I wouldn't go for that. It's a lot of hype, and it's gonna die out, right? So
I have a lot of those friends.
If that happens enough, people are not gonna take you seriously, right? They're like, he says it, but every time he says it, right? So then you gotta look at it like that, like my legacy, what people think of me when they see me, you got to take that into account. And and when you mess up, you got to be like, hey man, you got to own it. You got to be like, hey man, I haven't been around. Especially if you respect people, because you got to respect people's time.
You think your lack of consistency? You think your lack of consistency is due to fear?
I wouldn't say
scared.
I wouldn't say fear.
I think you're scared.
I wouldn't say fear.
I
wouldn't say fear.
I'm linking it to this thing that you want to do, this passion project of yours that could essentially, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta be consistent with everything, family and all. And I, as a dad, I know your family's consistent, man. You're a great dad. You're the coach of the baseball team. Yeah. You got the button up. If you don't see him, you got to follow him.
You see me in the pictures with the button up polo. You're like, who is this mask?
Shit, half the time I'm thinking, can he breathe? Jesus. It's very dapper looking. So you got consistency there, but we're talking about specific consistency as far as like getting some shit off the ground, right? Yeah. Are you scared of it? I think you're scared of it.
I think that I'm a visual person, so if I can't see it in my mind's eye, then that's when it's not fair. It's that I don't see the end, right? Like even with
you. So you don't trust it?
I don't trust it.
Even with you.
No.
I don't see shit with you. I don't trust you.
No.
Brendan, you heard it here first.
No. I'm saying even with you, like you tell me all the time, Mark, you're so, that you build me up a lot, Mike. Like over the years that we've been together, we had dinner the other night with our friend Terrence, and you were saying, man, I see something in you when I'm around you, the people that you might not see. So if you see it, I don't see it. If I don't see the vision, then I think that's when I get lost, right? I sometimes I have a hard time seeing it in game, seeing the vision that other people see.
But sometimes, right?
Seeing myself from the outside.
I tell you, but so here's what that hinders, right? So I remember when I was learning how to fly, well, I'd already had my my pilot's license, and I was getting my instrument rating, right? One of the things that they do is they put you under these things called foggles or goggles or whatever. I forgot what they're called. But anyway, you can't see outside, right? The whole point of the exercise is you got to trust your instruments, right? Because when you got clouds all around you, you have no reference to the ground, what's up, what's down. Like you could be flying sideways.
What's that called? IVF? The instrument.
Visual rating or IFR. IFR. I was like IVF. This sounds like STD. I was like, no, I don't have that. I don't have that. So basically, so when you're in the air, you could be flying sideways, not even know. So they teach you how to trust your instruments, right? How to and once you do that, once you master that, right, you learn how to trust it, so you enjoy flying even more, right? I think one of the things that inhibits you is the fact that you can't see it. Think about it, right? If you go outside and I blindfold you and I say walk, you're going to be hesitant. There's going to be hesitancy, right?
Yeah.
There's not going to be any enjoyment to trying to get from point A to point B because you're scared you're going to bust your ass, right? I don't want to fall out of this shit. I'm at the age of I can't fall, I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So think about it like this. Until you can trust yourself, until you can trust your instruments to say like, yo, like this is how you do stuff. Like I'm going to take you, young bird, and throw you because you have wings and you have these gigantic wings that when the wind catches them, dude, you can soar. You just got to trust it.
Yeah.
You may not see it, but just open your goddamn wings and just see it, right? That's all you got to do. Sometimes people are so scared, man, you know what I mean, to do that. And it's like, and once you do it, man, you're just like, what the fuck have I been missing all my life?
Yeah. I like that analogy, man. I like it. Go ahead.
Now I'm not gonna say that shit's an enjoyable ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trusting your instruments. I like that.
Because when I trust my instruments, although like I trust them to tell me like, shit is no. I still trust them, but it doesn't mean that the ride is gonna be always smooth.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean that the ride from Atlanta to Nashville is going to be smooth sailing. I'm going to have some bumps. But what it can tell me is I'm going to get you there safely. I'm going to get you there in a smart kind of way. Shit might hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
and
you're going to learn something from it. You're going to fall, but not fall. Hopefully not.
Don't fall.
Right? But, but you're going to learn something from it along the way. So, that's all I got to say about it. You have to trust it, man. You have to.
Yeah. What were you about to say, Brendan?
I think, Mike, you possess a certain skill that allows you to see the bigger picture a lot easier than others do. And that's what makes you so successful and able to be consistent.
Yeah.
It's where most people fall off because Mark just said it himself. He doesn't see the bigger picture. It doesn't mean there isn't one. It just means that he is wrapped up in what's going on in the moment and not looking forward like that far into the future, and being able to see the big picture, like it helps you stay motivated, really. And that's not a skill that everyone has. Like you have it. Like I don't have it sometimes.
It's a skill. I tell you, man. When I was practicing yoga, one of the things that I actually got to appreciate was some of the iconic, beautiful art in the studio. Right.
Yeah.
And there's an art of this Hindu god, and seriously, if I get this wrong, man, it's been a minute. But I have the concept right. This statue called Shiva. And if you look, there's a statue where Shiva is in this yoga pose, and there's like fire all around him. It's like pure mass pandemonium. And the pose is very concentrated, right? Like he's like no kind of unfocusedness whatsoever, right? Not being a word, but and I've always said like that's where I need to be. Like in all of this craziness, man, I got to be so here, right? That I see everything, like the passion, the love, the consistency. Like you just see everything, because that's this. Like once again, life. This shit gonna happen, man. You just gotta figure out a way. And my way and your way are totally different. But you just got to open your eyes.
You got to figure out your way.
It's a path.
Yeah, your own personal way. Exactly.
It's definitely a path.
Exactly, man. And I think, I was just in there thinking about it, man. Just thinking about myself personally. A lot of times, I think it comes down to not believing in yourself, right? So I say that to say, I do it a lot with my kids now, with my sons. I tell them all the time, I'm very positive, right? Positive reinforcement. Because I think as a kid, when I was younger, I didn't have that. You know what I mean? Going back to how you're raised. I had a stepfather. But I think it's different, and it's not like that. Every situation is different for different people. But I think sometimes you have a step parent, it's not the same as a real parent. You don't receive what they're saying the same, because this is my dad, my stepdad, but it's not really my dad, right? So I didn't have that where my dad was telling me every day, I believe in you. You can do this. Like with my kids, I believe in you. We don't say can't. And I think when you get older, having that watering your fruit, as so to say, when they're kids, when they get older, it's in their subconscious. They're like, he believed in me, so I believe in myself, right? So if you don't have that at a young age sometimes, and you can teach yourself that, but I think people that don't have that, I know in my experience, when I'm saying me personally, a lot of times I feel like sometimes I don't believe in myself. I remember when I used to play football, there would be times where I wasn't playing good is because I wasn't believing what I was seeing. Like I would hesitate, right? I would see it, but I was like, I don't know if I really trust it, right? So kind of playing scared, right? And then going back to what you're saying, being fearful. I think more for me, not so much fearful is the belief, like believing, can I really do this? Not scared if I could do it, but am I capable of doing it, right? Believing in your abilities.
Like imposter syndrome, bro. It sounds like imposter syndrome.
Educate me with that.
Wait. What do you mean it sounds like imposter syndrome?
Tell me
how does that work into play? I know exactly what it is.
I don't know.
I just want to see.
So I want you to tell me what it is. What is imposter syndrome?
It's basically like you're talking about, like you believe that you can't do something. Like you are literally, you played in the NFL, like you possess a skill set that got you there, and you played the games, you did all the stuff, but in your head, you feel like an imposter. You feel like, can I really do this? Like, is this really happening? Like, do I really believe in myself? Like,
saying you're questioning yourself.
Yeah,
you're like faking the funk.
Yeah.
But you really have everything that you really truly. Like, I don't want to have like this. That's a foo-foo comment. Like, it's not foo-foo. It's true, but. Yeah. I honestly just think that in the grand scheme of things, I know this shit is hard, man, but you have to just buckle down.
Oh, man. Yeah, without a doubt.
And if that means that it's like, one thing I can say about consistency is you have a great partner, right? Your wife is a beautiful individual. She's tough like my wife, which I love. But one thing that my wife affords me is the ability to be out here and to do this, right? She takes care of our kids. You have a plan. I think you have a good partner. I think, Candace does that for you. And we have to make sure our relationships are tight in that in that regard. But part of that is you, man. I mean, you wake up at 4 a.m., right? I'm texting you. I text you at 4 a.m. when I'm up, right? Having coffee.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, are you going to, I mean,
you got shit to get off the pot. What are you going to do? And I think, going back to my kids, I think a good parent, you recognize your weaknesses, right? So then you try to, a good parent should recognize a weakness because you should see it in your kids. How do I help that not be a weakness for him or her and make that a strength? And that's what I'm doing, right? I see that I'm hesitant in certain ways. Like when my kids say can't, I lose it. Like if you say can't, that's like a sin in the house. Right?
I know.
You don't say.
I know. I mean, I've been there with you.
You don't, but like you don't say can't. So like when they see me say when they get older, and be like, that's not going to be a word in their vocabulary, right? So it's something that's taught, whatever. But I like what you said, Brendan. Like I've never heard that imposter syndrome. I'm actually, when we later on in the day when I have some time, or later on in the night, I'm going to do some more research on it because that's a very interesting subject. And you and Mike, obviously, you're familiar with, but I've never heard that before.
And you have a voice, man. When I say you have a voice, not like that, not like today's climate.
Yeah.
You have a voice. You got a vote.
Yeah. You have a voice.
You got to vote. You got to vote. Yeah. No, I'm talking about the voice inside of you that you need to listen to, right?
Yeah.
It gets you through a lot of shit, man. It's an interesting conversation, that voice in your head. The shit is crazy. But sometimes the voice, you got to say like, all right, dude, I get you, but I'm not going to listen. Like Goggins, I'm not going to listen to you today. All right, and we're going to, I'm just going to go here, and then you go 10 more miles, right? Yeah. Sometimes you just got to, like the curiosity, like I'm starting to get curious about a lot of things in life. And I think that's what kind of propels me forward. Like at this point, man, I just don't, it's almost like you just don't give a shit, right? Like it's now or never. You know what I mean? And you just got to jump. You have to really just jump, man. You got to jump.
Yeah.
If you don't jump, you can't complain. Like that's the fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Because if you jump and then you get fucked up, then you can complain. And even at that point, it's like nobody wants to hear it. All right, shit, you learned something from jumping, and you never jump with shoes on ever again, right? Yeah. So regardless, like you can't jump in, you cannot not jump and complain.
Yeah.
You especially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't want to I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to anybody listening to the podcast. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Everybody wants to listen, could listen.
No, it's a good conversation.
But we talked about this. We had dinner the other night. I wish you were there, Brendan, with a good friend of ours. But it's the same thing, man. And then the other thing is watch who you listen to, because that same person you listen to could be the person that's holding you back.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
You're sending mixed signals right now, Mike. You just gave all this great advice.
I'm not saying. I said that's what works for me, bro. You know what I mean? I'm telling him, yeah, but I'm telling him, but how does me telling him to listen to his voice hold him back? Me telling him, no, Mark, this is what you need to do, and this is what we're going to do, that, that could be just benefiting me. I'm telling him something that's completely nonpartisan, non-biased, listen to your voice. You want to know what works consistently for me? I've told you what works consistently for me. And the things that I've done to create those building blocks in the core, like the yoga stuff and all that shit, right? So I'm just saying, be careful, man. Because I know you get involved with certain people, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's just
ulterior motives, man. And some of the stuff you've told me in the past, it just come to, I'll think back to, like, damn, Mike said something about that. Mike brought that up. Mike mentioned that he might be psychic, he might be Miss Cleo, man. But like a lot of things, that's why I love doing this with you, Mike, because I feel like what Brendan was saying, like you have a gift and a skill that most people don't have, and I feel like, to be honest with you, man, you were like my Yoda. Like when I have a problem, when I need something, like not even just need something, when something's on my mind, if I have to flush it out, you're the person I really want to talk to, because one, this is what people need to have, especially to be consistent. Going back to the conversation of consistency, you need to have people in your life that are going to be honest with you. I mean, like blunt.
No.
Oh my God, yeah, Mike is the most honest person.
Stop, man.
Like, man, Mark,
man. I'm be like, Mark, black man.
He'd be like, Mark, what you doing? You fucking up. Or like, that's the same thing going back to my wife. She'll be like your wife probably does. Like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? You're not making any money doing it. It's like, you're not having fun. Your wife tells you that all the time about certain things. Like, why are you wasting your time if you don't want to do it?
I have a lot of people that have been honest with me in my life.
And that goes to the team you surround yourself with. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think for me, maybe somebody can relate to this out there that's listening to this show. It's just you gotta make a decision what's important to you and what you're willing to sacrifice for. Like going back to what Brendan said, like you gotta not look at the things in front of you and just see the things down the road. Like it sounds cliche, but that's really, really true, right? You gotta be willing. Yeah.
My whole thing is what's like, you just have to be in love with the process of whatever you're doing. That's the consistency of that. If you love it, you're always going to want to do it, man. And and you fall in love with it. You find curious ways to fall in love with it. I don't mean I don't mean things like, for example, eating healthy, right? You got to be consistent with that, right? But there's certain things that you have to eat that, let's just say, for example, I can't stand beets. Oh my God, it's still worse.
Yeah.
Worst tasting thing ever. Beets juice, all that stuff, right? But if I consistently drink it, it helps my body. A whole bunch of different kinds of ways.
Blood circulation, all that stuff.
Everything, right? So in order to stay consistent, I have to, somewhat, the fall in love with, always want to do it, right? So I found the curiosity of like, why do I hate it so much? Why does it taste like ass half the time? Why does when I go to the bathroom, like it's like red, everything, right? But then it's the truth. My God, I'm so curious about that. But then I found out like different ways that people cook it and make it, and it's not as bad, you know what I mean? So and then it got actually really good. So the curiosity of it, right? All I asked you is just, if you call it a passion project and you really truly love it, fall in love with the curiosity of falling in love with doing it. And then that creates consistency.
Let me ask you.
You love running. You love biking now. You do it all the time.
I was going to ask you about that. Let me ask. So sometimes when, like, even now in the wintertime when I'm training, there's certain days where I know, like, I'm really not feeling it. In my workout, I'll be like, this wasn't a good run, right? So going over to, like, say we're doing this podcast, when there's certain days where you're not feeling it, you don't give the best show that you could have possibly given, right? Is that better to do it, not to do it, to go ahead and do it anyway, even if you know it's not going to be up to your standard, or to just say, I'm not doing it? Like, what's better, to not do it, or to just, knowing it's not the best quality and still do it?
The young man decided to start first. I'm going to hear what he say. What is that? What are you saying? No?
I'm really curious what you have to say on this, because I feel like you're the type of person that's like, if you're going to do something, like, do it and do it well, or don't do it at all. Like, and then it's conflicting though, because I mean, like, you want to be a man of your word too and do what you say you're going to do, but some days you're just not feeling it. Like the runs, especially in winter in Michigan, I've been like slacking. Like, dude, it's cold. There's ice on the ground. I don't want to like slip and hit my head, which I've already done one time. So I'm a little messed up right now. But That's beside the point.
Yeah.
There's a fine line. There's a fine line with that when it comes to that. If we were to talk about training or actually any application for that matter, right? You got to think to yourself, as an expert and as a master of your realm, right? Yeah. Just like anything else, being consistent with your training, right? Mm-hmm. Consistency in training isn't always running. Mm-hmm. Consistency is always understanding that I need to stop for a minute, right? Because this is not a good idea today, right? Yeah. Could you imagine if I was consistent, if I was just like, you know what, man, I feel like shit, but I'm actually going to take my plane up in 18,000. No, fuck that, dude. I'm not flying. Yeah. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I'm not a consistent pilot. That just means today, right, I decided to be smart, right, and not do it. Does that mean that you can't do it? No, there's a big difference, right? And that's where a lot of people get confused with, I think, my translation of it. Like a David Goggins or whatever, like even on your worst day, you need to get up and get it done. Yeah. Like I get that, bro, but on my worst day, I could fuck myself up even more. Like, no, bro, you just had a heart attack. You need to sit down. You shouldn't be out there doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. Like that's stupid, right? And I don't think that Goggins is saying be stupid, right? Yeah. I think what he's talking about is like, bro, you're on the fucking couch. You're not doing anything. It's not one of those days where it's like, if I do this, right, I'm going to execute it wrong. Mentally, I'm not sharp on it. So it could lead to injury or something stupid, right? And I'm going to regret it. That's a different story than I feel it. I'm good. I feel good. I don't feel like going out today. I'm going to go have a beer, right? Yeah. It's different. Yeah. Okay? So I honestly would say it's one of those things where you just gotta judge it, man. Like if you're just bitching to bitch, and you know you got it in you, you just don't feel like doing that shit. Nah, fuck off. Go. You know what I mean? You're not being consistent. Now you're being if it's something that's gonna impair you, like truly impair you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bro, I fucking biked like 112 miles. Like I don't feel like it today. Like for example, when you ran that ultra with me, right? You had ran the last man standing the week before. If you had hit me, it was like, I'm not feeling it today. Yeah. Trust me, I'd have been like, you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like you ran 50 miles last weekend, you're good. Yeah. That's a smart decision. Right? Yeah. But if you had called me and you hadn't ran and you're like, you just being
pussy, yeah, basically, yeah.
That's the big difference, right? Yeah. So absolutely. I don't know if that makes any sense, producer B, in what you were saying, because I know you were trying to contradict me. You're trying to fact check me, and I know it's some
no, it makes sense. It makes sense. It does.
Bullshit,
it really does.
Right? But it's not. I mean, it's not a gift, man. A lot of stuff. I mean, listen. A lot of it is I'm just older than some of you guys. Well, all of you guys. I'm the eldest. So I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot more, right? Not as. I mean, yeah, I've been through a lot of shit, man. So I know how to duck and weave, right? And like a lot of your constituents, right? I've seen those types before, man. You fucking duck because you get caught up in the hype of all this shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Oh my god, it's amazing. Yeah. Oh, you could do, and then you see them, what the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck away. I should have ducked you, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm just saying, man, trust yourself, you know, and be consistent with that. And don't get caught in that bullshit, and keep your eye on your prize, man. And you know, if you truly love it, you'll know it. And you know, I mean, and if you don't, and if you don't want to jump, fuck, just stay up there and just don't bitch. I don't want to fucking hear it. You know what I mean? Don't be mad when, you know.
Yeah, the train passes you by.
You know, I mean, I say the same shit to Brendan. Like his ass is like, I don't even fucking know if he's doing a marathon next month. You know?
When is it?
April 9th.
April 9th.
April, no, not next month, in April, right? Okay. I mean, you know, so it's like, but you know what? Here's the thing with it, right? What happens when you're not consistent, right? Shit falls to pieces, right? You know, shit. I did not run. I did not train for that ultra. Yeah. That shit fell to pieces. Mark, who was consistent with his training, is sure just running along. Yeah. Running along.
But if
I'm on the floor. Oh, geez. God, if you help me get through this, I swear to God, I swear I won't. Seriously. Yeah. That's what happened.
That's the talking about running, man, and you know, that's the funny thing about running. It takes so hard to get to a certain spot, but you lose it so fast. Like you can work out for 6 months straight. You take like 2-3 weeks off. Oh man, it's gonna be a problem.
So it holds true to everything, man. Every single application in life, right? Ain't none of these cats, man, that we like. More power to them, man. Some of the cats we know, I mean, they're powerful. They do what they do, but they all know the secret sauce, right? then all you gotta do is watch them and follow that secret sauce just to emulate just a fraction of what they're doing, and then kind of create your own sauce from that and just be huge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But don't get caught in the hype, as producer B was saying.
Mm-hmm.
So easy to get caught in the hype.
That throws you off from being consistent.
Yeah.
Sometimes that shit means like turning off,
muting people. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm infamous for that. Block. I don't even mute you. I block you. Like, I don't even want to know that you're available in my feed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to know that in order for me to unblock you, I have to go through like a whole bunch of shit to do it. Like, I don't want to see, like, you know what I mean? It's blinders, man.
Yeah.
And I use a lot of reference points all the time throughout life. You know, the reference point I use with that is when Phelps was what's the other American guy? Lock. I want to say Lockheed.
He's blonde. I know you're talking about.
No, he's not blonde. No, he's kind of. But anyway, it was
Eminem blonde.
Yeah, they were in the Japan race or something, and it was like it was a freestyle, and he was ahead, and he was scheduled to win. And if he had just kept his blinders on, instead he wanted to see what Michael Phelps is doing. Shit, what the heck he's doing over here? Yeah. Michael Phelps said, "Shit,
shot right
past you." You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If you would just like, shit, man, it's good to know that y'all doing that. And every now and then, you know, shit, you take, okay, cool, I see what you're doing. But I'm not going like, what you doing over there, man? You all right?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. You know, I think back to when I was playing football, man, like, speaking to what you're talking about, like, are you being a pussy or are you really impaired, right? Like, day in and day out, we work on our craft, practice after practice. In the NFL, practice after practice after practice. Even in days you didn't want to do it, but then you saw the results, right? So I think for me, it's just being honest with myself, like, hey, there's going to be times where you're not going to want to do it, but you can do it, right? And is this what you really, really, really want to do, right? And if you want to do it, then do it, and not keep talking about it.
That's, I mean, and really, honestly, like that's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. Like, if you really don't want to do it, then don't waste anybody's time.
Just not do it.
Don't lie to yourself. Yeah. Don't bitch about it.
Yep.
Kick rocks. Go away. Just done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fuck off.
Tell cats that shit. I mean, I tell people that shit all the time, man. Like, don't waste my time. Like, let's just be real. Like, you don't want to do this. Like, why?
Yeah. Why are you doing this?
Why are you lying to yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't really want. I heard you say that before. You don't really want to do this. Like, you don't have a reason to do this.
Now he's talking about a specific situation where we know somebody who actually has came up.
Yeah.
The come up.
The come up, baby.
Look at me. The come up. If you don't know what that means, Google it.
Oh, man.
But and you know, I was involved with doing some stuff with him. I said to him, listen, man, if that happened to me, I wouldn't even call you.
Yeah.
Deuces. I'll send you a postcard.
Yeah.
Right. Which I mean, kind of eventually did.
Like,
but
whatever.
I got a fucking postcard like, kick rocks, motherfucker. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you tell a motherfucker to fuck off.
Yeah.
That's a still learn too.
But no, it's like just be honest with yourself, right? Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's not just do this just what you don't want to hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Are you scared? Are you know, it could be a whole bunch of reasons. Nothing, whatever. But just don't lie to yourself and say that this is what, you know, and it's not. Because then it's just going to always fall to the wayside. Nobody's going to give a shit. You know what I mean? You're going to eventually say, oh, what the hell am I doing? And then you're going to bitch again. So don't do that to yourself, man. You got talent, dude.
Yeah.
You got a lot of fucking talent.
Just got to believe it.
I think you believe it.
That was a great conversation today, boys. I like that conversation a lot, man. Hopefully people will get some nuggets out of it, and they'll be able to apply it to their life.
You did? Producer B, you did?
I'm always getting nuggets. You guys have so much life experience.
We're going to see what happens at mile 17, motherfucker. Shit. Huh? You're going to call me. This is how it's going to happen. When's the race? When's the race?
Dude, I don't want to fucking do this shit.
On April 9th, I'm going to go ring, ring,
listen,
ring,
you heard what he
ring,
said? He said he doesn't want to do it.
I know. Hold on. This is ring, 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 ring. Yes. Mr. Michael Johnson, this is Amy Fashion from Michigan Hospital International. We have a one Brendan Gasley, just dying, cramps, everything. Seriously, that's what's going to be, because there's no consistency. All right?
I'm
trying.
Don't try, do.
Oh, fuck. All right, no, you're right. I don't want to do it, but...
Ladies and gentlemen, Until next time.
Until next time, we're out.
Deuces, baby. See ya.
It's fucking brutal, dude. I'm not joking.
You open the door, you probably like, nah, not today.
No, absolutely. That's happened like a couple days this week where I've just opened the door and it's been fucking blizzard outside and I just shut it. Go right back inside.
Open it, shut it.
Hey, fuck this. Nah.
Yeah, you should have a door like the wind. No, fuck that.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow.
You know, it reminds me of Rex. Nah.
Yo, you gonna be fucked up in the game, bro. I still need to figure out like, and you ain't telling nobody about this shit. I'm waiting for you to be like last minute, like, yeah, I didn't think I'm gonna do that shit.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. I'm just not happy about it.
This is totally all subject, and I'm just gonna say it. Can I ask you about something?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does Laura have her ass all over Instagram?
Oh, nigga. Oh.
Hey, you saw that, my boy.
Yeah, and I saw you liked it, Mr. Brendan. Yes.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
Nah, he's got ulterior motives, though, man, because he's trying to get her to hook him up with some of her friends.
Oh,
that's what he's doing.
I see he's playing.
Her friend Annie is a fucking dime piece, bro. For real.
Okay, all right. She live in Atlanta?
Nah, she lives in Texas, but she's always in Atlanta. So next time I come down there, it's over.
You got to coordinate when she's in town.
I will say this though, she has lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, she looks good. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
that. First of all, hold on a second. First of all, what I tell, I wouldn't have posted that ass pic.
Yeah.
The front, cool, but the way she did the ass pic, I was like, nah, I wouldn't have done that. At least not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
At least not yet. Give me about 2 more months.
Yeah, you're not ready, not yet. Yeah. What were you saying?
I was gonna see if Mark liked it.
Nah, hell no. Not absolutely.
No,
not.
I'm not.
I saw it. Caught up like that. Leave no evidence.
Leave no evidence.
Hey, you got to leave here by 2:00. You want to smoke something real quick?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
You want anyone shattering it?
Nah, hell no. I gotta be around kids tonight. I got baseball practice.
All right, Brendan, I'm gonna send you the episode. All right.
I got the audio recorded in case you need it, but
okay, Bert. Yeah, I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check it later.
Right. Hey, can we please not put this out until we get a couple more in the clip?
Yeah, because this is a timeless thing. Okay. Oh no, we talked about Super Bowl
though. Maybe we can get something soon though. I can get something soon.
That's cool.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
All right. Bye, Brandon. See you.